Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and boy oh boy is this a glorious day if you are a owner of an all Kroot army or somebody that just wants to add a little more Kroot to their Tau force, because they have finally done what I was actually starting to think they weren't going to do, and they've actually given us 40k rules for that awesome new Kroot kill team that's come out, the Kroot Farstalkers. And it's not what a lot of us thought, in that it was just going to be upgrades and different weapon options for the Kroot carnivores. Oh no, this is an all new squad, meaning that the idea of an all Kroot army is now even more viable and possible, if not actually competitive. But so what we're going to do here is we're going to give them just kind of my review and thoughts on everything here, and we'll go through all of the different war gear options and whatnot that are on display here for us. So let's jump in and start talking about it. So to start off here, it doesn't appear particularly exciting. Essentially this is a unit of 10, so just like a standard unit of Kroot carnivores, you've got 10 models. The difference here is that one of those models is the Kill Broker, which is basically like the mini Kroot shaper that comes with the squad. So what you get for him is just an extra attack and an extra pip of leadership, but I mean, hey, it's better than nothing. The unit itself, it doesn't show here, it shows at the very bottom, is 20 points more than 10 carnivores. So at base, this is 80 points, whereas carnivores would be 60. So we're looking at 8 points a model versus 6 points a model. But for those 20 points, you do get a number of upgrades. So I guess it's just kind of up to you if you think they're worth it. But we're going to go through that list now and see what you can actually get for those extra 20 points. So again, to start off with, all their stats other than the Kill Broker are the same, but so the first new weapon option you can take, and you are only allowed, for each of these you're allowed one of them in the squad. So very similar to how GW is doing things lately, where they don't want you to just take a massive squad of plasma weapons or melta weapons or whatever. They want you to just kind of have one of each and really make it as complicated as possible. But anyways, you get this accelerator bow here, which I believe, and we'll double check at the bottom, I believe this is one of the free upgrades for the unit. So for no extra cost, you can give this to one of the models in the unit. So this will be replacing his Kroot rifle. So it is a range 18, assault 1, strength 6, AP 2, damage 1, and each time an attack is made with this weapon, you can re-roll the wound roll. So right off the bat, I would say that is a decent upgrade over the standard Kroot rifle, which is a rapid fire 1, 24-inch range, strength 4, no AP, 1 damage shot. So for free, it's only one shot, a little bit less range, but a higher strength, minus 2 AP when you normally don't have any, and you can re-roll the wound roll. So it's a pretty decent little weapon. It's not going to do anything crazy, it's still only 1 damage, but it's certainly a little bit better than the standard Kroot rifle. Now following that, you have the Divergerite Skinner, which is a range 12, assault D6, strength 4, AP 1, damage 1, and each time an attack is made with this weapon, the attack automatically hits the target. So this is their version of a flamer, I guess. This one is one that you have to pay for, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check again and I'll have that pop up if it's incorrect. If it's free, then I think it's fine. I'm never the biggest fan of flamers, and you only get one in the squad, so it's kind of like, eh. But I believe this one costs 10 points, and to me, I don't think that's really worth it. The lack of range, and just it being another 10 points on what's this is a very squishy squad. This is essentially the same durability as 10 Kroot carnivores. These things aren't going to last long. I don't want to invest any extra points in it that I don't have to. So yeah, I would say the Skinner here is probably a pass from me. Now, following that, we have the Kroot hunting rifle, which I know got a lot of people excited. That's probably one of my favorite, bits or weapons in this squad. As a longer Kroot hunting rifle with a scope and whatnot is something that people have been making for forever. And especially now with the new Tau Codex, there is that Ka Chaktar rifle, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to be using this for that. So this is a 36-inch range, heavy 1, strength 6, minus 1, damage 2. And then it has the standard sniper rifle rules of ignoring lookout sir, and each time you make an attack with this weapon, an unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound in addition. So basically your standard sniper rifle. It's the same as most other sniper rifles in the game. This one I think is slightly higher strength, and the 2 damage is kind of nice. And this weapon is again free, so in my opinion it is worth taking. I think that basically with this squad I would take all of the free upgrades, with the exception of one that we're going to get to in a minute, and basically just like you just run this as a normal carnivore squad that's a slightly more shooty basically. So taking that and taking that accelerator bow, you now have 2 models in the unit that could maybe do a little bit of extra damage. Now, following that, we have our standard Kroot weaponry, the Kroot pistol and the Kroot rifle. This is something that the carnivores already have, so we don't really need to touch on that. But it is nice that it is the option there, I guess, just to, if you wanted to run the whole squad the same, if you didn't want to waste time having to roll extra dice for those upgraded weapons, I guess it's nice that you have that there. So the other thing here that you can take is the Kroot scattergun, and you're actually allowed 2 of these in the unit. And to my knowledge, that these are the kind of sawed-off looking Kroot rifles that we've seen. And again, this is something a lot of kit bashers and people with lots of Kroot have done. I know I have a bunch that I've done that too, just to spice them up a little bit. And when you have a whole bunch, it's basically the exact same as the Kroot rifle, only it's less range, but you're switching it from rapid fire to assault, so I guess you can advance and shoot this weapon. To me, I don't think it's really worth it. I get it's kind of a side grade, I guess. Actually, if you want to take it, you're getting the same number of shots that you're generally going to have with your Kroot carnivore squads, but you're missing out on those extra couple long shots that you might need in a pinch, kind of thing. I would rather the range personally, but I can see, I guess, if you're having you're taking all the short range weapons, like I guess the accelerator bow is 18 inches as well, so I think it's kind of take or leave. They're free, and you're allowed 2 of them in the squad. To me, it's just kind of like more rules that you have to keep track of in the back of your head for what's essentially a really cheap, squishy squad. So I personally wouldn't take them, but I don't think it's a big deal if somebody wants to. I don't think it's necessarily worse, it's just a little bit different. Now, following the scattergun, we have the Lawn Daxi Tri-Blast. This is an 18-inch heavy 3, strength 7, AP 1, damage 1, but if you're attacking a vehicle, that goes up to damage 3. Now, this is one of the other 10-point upgrades, so that's a fair chunk of points that you're paying for this thing. You only get 1 in the squad. And the reason for me I wouldn't take it is because of 1, the low range, so you have to get close to use this thing anyway, and it's heavy, so whenever you move with it, you're getting that -1 penalty. You're already ballistic skill 4. It's only 3 shots. Now you'll be ballistic skill 5. To me, it just doesn't seem worth it. I think it's not bad. It's not a terrible gun. The damage 3 versus vehicles could be handy in a pinch, and with one of their other abilities we'll get to in a moment, it could do something in game. But to me, it's just not worth the 10 points for this type of a squad. This type of a squad that's not particularly durable. It's probably not going to last very long. I don't think investing points in it is worth it, and not for a gun like this. If this gun was assault, and you could have 2 of them in a squad, then maybe. Or if it was free. If it was free, then sure, maybe take it. But to me personally, I don't think this one is worth it. But your opinion might differ then. Now, finally, we get to the war gear options for the Kill Broker, and so he can take either a standard Kroot rifle, a pulse carbine, a pulse rifle, and then he also gets to have a ritual blade. The ritual blade is nice because that actually adds a little bit extra melee threat to the unit. And that is something I didn't mention before, is if you take those, the Kroot scatterguns, you're missing out on that melee from the Kroot rifle. It's not a lot, but an extra AP 1 is nice, and can be helpful against certain opponents, so keep that in mind as well if you choose to take those guns. So yeah, with him with the ritual blade, getting +1 strength, -1 AP, and then everybody else with a Kroot rifle, or most of them with the Kroot rifle, this squad is actually a little bit worse in melee than a standard Kroot squad, I believe, because if you've given everybody the max number of special weapons, you're going to be missing out on, and you know, just a fair bit of AP1 attacks in favor of the 3 extra that are at strength 5 from the Shapers. It's kind of neither here nor there. But him with the pulse carbine or pulse rifle is nice because that's another free kind of special weapon you can take for the squad. I personally like the pulse rifle more just for that range and that AP, but I can see why somebody would take either one, and I definitely would take either one of them over the Kroot rifle because he doesn't need the little bit of melee punch from the Kroot rifle. He already has that from the ritual blade. So him with the ritual blade with either the carbine or the rifle, I would choose the rifle, but I think it's a decent little loadout for him. And then the last little piece of war gear, because for some reason they deem not to give us the hounds, is the Pekra, which is the little Kroot hawk that is a part of the squad. So if you choose to take that, it's another 10-point upgrade, but then you can use that to ignore cover. For 10 points, I don't think it's really worth it. Again, anything with extra points on this squad I don't think is worth it. But it's cool, and I mean, everybody's going to model the bird on there anyway, because why would you not, unless you're using it on another Kroot model. So it's cool that it has rules, and maybe in a pinch, if you had all the special weapons in the squad, it could be cool to use the bird, I guess, but I personally wouldn't be taking that bird. So last but not least, we have the unit's abilities. So up above there you can see the allotted amounts of special weapons they can take, but it's just as I said, one of everything except for the scatterguns, which you can have 2. So they have the ambushing predators, which is a really good ability. It's what all the other Kroot have, where they get to have a pre-game move of up to 7 inches, as long as they're not within 9 of enemy models. But so that effectively means they get at least a 14-inch move on turn 1, which is pretty nice. But then the special ability unique to these guys is Bounty Hunters. At the start of the first battle round, select one enemy unit to be this unit's bounty. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack against its bounty, you can re-roll the hit roll. So that really helps with their natural ballistic skill of 4+. It makes them a lot more accurate. And then so if you had this squad and you took all the special weapons and maybe you comboed it with an Ethereal's abilities, you could maybe do some damage with it. Unfortunately, like I said, you're limited to just like one of each of the special weapons. I personally wouldn't pay for the ones you have to pay for, but so if you had this squad, you had the accelerator bow, you had the hunting rifle, you had the kill broker with the pulse carbine or the pulse rifle, and then everybody else with their normal Kroot rifles, you could do some damage with this. You're rerolling all the hits, and then maybe you've got a Shaper ability in there for reroll 1s to wound. Maybe you've got the Ethereal ability, which I forget what it is, but I know he has one that buffs Kroot. You know, they could maybe do something. It's not going to be anything game winning, but it's just kind of cool. So thoughts overall on the squad. What do I think? Well, I'm a little bit torn. I guess on one hand was hoping for something a little bit unique. I'm a little bit bummed that the hounds didn't get rules for the squad, like some sort of, you know, maybe they let the squad move faster, maybe they scout ahead, or they're just extra bodies in the squad that you know, maybe they're like a Blade of Wounds, you know, that little bit of extra melee. To me, it's kind of weird because it just feels like carnivores with upgraded weapons. It doesn't really feel like that unique or different of a squad. But I'm super happy with it. I'm happy. I think the rules are fine. I don't think anything in here is, you know, game winning. I don't think anything in here is broken or overpowered. I think it's fine. I think it's fine for what it is. You know, I didn't expect a Kroot with effectively a bow and arrow to be, you know, the be all and end all of 40k, and I think the rules reflect that. I think they're fine. So for the cost, the squad is 80 points base, as I said. So for 20 points more than normal carnivores, you're getting the Kill Broker, who has better melee and a better rifle. Also a little bit better leadership for the squad, not that that usually matters too much. And you're getting at least let's say 2 to 4 other special weapons. I would say for sure the rifle, even though it's heavy, and as I said, the moving penalty kind of sucks, but that one at least is long range, so it's kind of, you can get those long shots if you're sitting at the back. and its benefits at least make up for it in my opinion. So I take the rifle, the accelerator bow, and then all the upgrades on the kill broker. And not to mention that cool bounty ability they have to make them just that little bit more killy. So in my opinion, 20 points for so like I said, somewhere between 3 and 5 special weapons and a nice add-on ability. I think that's worth it. Like I said, I think they're probably about as valuable as normal Kroot carnivores, which are considered to be pretty good for their points. Like they're only 6 points. These guys work out to about 8 points a model. I think that's fine. I think they're good. I'm sure a lot of people probably just like in competitive or whatever will just keep taking more carnivores. But for us that run just like fun all Kroot armies, I think it's fine, and I think that we're just all more than happy to have more Kroot models to mess around with. But so either way, guys, let me know what you think of the new rules for this squad. Are you going to be taking them? If so, how many? And what are you taking them with? That's about all from me, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Don't forget to leave a suggestion down below of what you would like to see for our celebration live stream, which will be happening in about a little over a week's time. But anyways, thanks again. Bye for now.